We walk amongst ghosts every day, be it sights of war and strife, or poverty and horror. The twisting, snaking paths are beautiful, but can lead us to some things undiscovered and terrifying. From the Mississippi Delta to the jungles of the Far East, the dead demand to be acknowledged. This is what we do here. Welcome to the House of Asher.
Yes, my friend, welcome back to the House of Asher. I am your humble host, Steve Asher, and I just want to let you guys know I love you. I really do. No, I've not been drinking or dipping into the mushrooms. Just want to let you guys know I do appreciate you, and from this point forward, I plan on having a lot more content, a lot more often. So, from that point, I want to touch base about something kind of freaky. Some of you guys might have heard tale of what had been called the Princeton pigman. Some had called it the Highland Holler man, be it a pig or otherwise. But they also call it the pigman of Highland Holler and all kinds of different stuff. Long story short, it's freaky. It's freaky, and it's creepy, and it's borderline dangerous. Now, understand, this all happens on the tail of what's been going on in the last couple of years in western Kentucky. Now, for you that are not familiar with this area, a lot of watery areas, some even swamplandish. We do have a tendency of having floods, and that causes a lot of low vegetation growth, and that brings in the feral hogs. You heard me correctly, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking feral hog, big tusked mother humpers who will kill your animals, kill other farm animals. They will tear into side of buildings. I'm talking, you understand, the tusk on a feral hog is like a bone knife, and it's just real bad news. And you don't want to play with these guys. Thank God we do have people that keep the population in check. Yes, I can hear PETA now, but you know what? Come down here and live and see how well that ideology sticks. It's a lot easier when you go to Whole Foods or something and get everything that's already processed out and prepared. But I digress. Anyway, so as I was trying to tell you, we have really had an upswing on feral hogs in all throughout western Kentucky and down into eastern Tennessee and southern Illinois. It's really been a humdinger, and you have more and more people now reporting seeing seemingly humanoid creatures with hog-like, bovine, whatever you want to call it, or not bovine, sorry, pig-like faces. Because a bovine's a cow. But, long story short is, it's catching people's attention. And as I told you, most of what I know of these type of creatures, is from further out east, Goat Man and things like that. Of course, most of you have heard of Hogzilla and these just mutant-sized pigs, which, like a lot of animals, they will keep growing and growing to the point where the food will, diminish. Kind of like if you feed one fish forever in a big tank, it's going to get in just unimaginably massive. It's very true of people who will get goldfish, things like that, and they just feed them and feed them and feed them. They keep them 5 or 6 years. The kid gets older, he gets ready to go to college. Well, somebody goes releases it into the lake because they hate to see little Timmy the fish get killed, or they'll flush it, which it still goes the same waterways, guys. It all leads back to the water. It all leads back to the water table, and these guys become predators. We have a real bad problem with giant carp, which is really all a goldfish is. Some people have koi ponds. and it's by no fault of their own. It floods. Their area floods. Whoosh, there goes their fish. And it goes back in there and it starts killing off all the natural fish, eating all their eggs. Anyway, it's a problem. Back to the hog issue. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives close down to the Highland area, which there's a Highland Baptist church here, and there's Highland homes. And so, anyway, I was talking to a friend who lives down there, and he was telling me about, they still are having some sort of visitation, some sort of just things in the woods. Now, I understand we have deers and whatnot, and people know the sound of deers. People know the sound of raccoons. People know the sound of, stray dogs. This was none of these. It was a very bizarre amalgamation of a human voice. Primarily had been male, and I'll get into that here in a minute, with the squeals and clicks and all that you would hear like on a hog farm. Just watch Deliverance and just listen to all the squealing that they do. That's very reminiscent of kind of how it sounded. It was just not quite as creepy and rednecky. So anyway, this has been going on for a while. And generally, they don't have problems. The people talk about they don't have issues. Sometimes they'll toss out apples, kind of like you would see people do with Bigfoot. They would toss out apples. They would put out corn, different things like that. And seemingly whatever was in the area would leave them alone. Now, it seems like they're getting a little braver, and they're wanting to get up into people's backyards now, because there was like a great big culvert hollow area that runs more or less parallel to the Cedar Hill Cemetery, which there's all kinds of stories from there that will be for another discussion. But now, not only have they heard this primarily male creature, they're hearing almost like piglets. They've even mentioned hearing when it had a distinctly female timbre to its voice. I don't want to say her voice because I don't know what it is. And, unless you're Philip Bailey, most guys can't hit that kind of range. And it's really got these people freaked out. And so hopefully my plan is to try to set up some trail cams, maybe even get permission to be in some of their back 40s, as we call them, their backyards and further down, to check this out. I do have family with property in the area. That's all I'll say about that. I don't want them to be bothered. And that's another thing I should probably put out front, is the thing that don't go creeping around people's properties. It's a good way to get shot. It's a good way to get attacked by a dog. That's a good way to fall down a hill, hurt yourself, fall down about a 25-foot drop. And especially if you're trying to pull this off by yourself in the middle of the night, no one's going to know you're there. And it'd be pretty friggin' embarrassing if someone did and they called the cops. They have to pull you out, and you're down there telling them you're trying to find the pigman. They'll probably test you to see if you're drunk at the least, and you'll probably get a good fine. So again, be respectful. Don't be a douche. Always be respectful of people's property, and honest to gosh, just let's be respectful of whatever is down there. I know if it was anything else, if it was cattle or this or that, nobody wants to be abused. Nobody wants to be scared. Nobody wants to be chased. So let's keep that in mind. But that being said, I probably should have said initially, after thank you guys for tuning in, make sure to check out, all lowercase and together, Steve Asher dot, just like a little period, studio.com. You can check me out there, and you can definitely check me out on Spreaker, iHeart, all these different formats. Make sure to please to go to my go to my Amazon page for all my writings. I'm up to currently up to 12 books at this moment, and definitely got more in the pipe. But you will be seeing more of these short segments. I actually plan on taking some of my chapters from my books and turning those into standalone stories. And I hope you guys like them. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Please share it with some friends. Heck, share it with some enemies. Maybe you'll make them a friend. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a good day. Enjoy that sun. Enjoy the last gasps of summer. But as the sun settles behind the pines and the shadows roll on, please check your back doorway. Check your closet. Check under your crawl space. You never know. There might be something unusual and a little creepy under there, but never fear, true believers. There's knowledge in facing your fears and learning. Sometimes they're just like us. But I do, again, thank you all. Love to everyone. Please tune back in next time that we have something of a spooky fare for you. And as always, my dear listeners, please stay scared.